Greetings. One thing that's rather unfortunate is when, despite technological progress and economic progress, which I've demonstrated very heavily with data across many videos on this channel, governmental mismanagement, deliberate governmental demoralization of the population, and just other cultural forces not in anyone's control or not done through any nefarious purposes tend to worsen the human condition. And some of those things are because of a pandemic like COVID, and some of those are not. Now, over here on the Calculated Risk blog, which of course is a blog from the 2000s and therefore a relic of the 4:3 era, it's not even in 16:9 resolution, there's a chart that tracks the death rate in the United States. U.S. deaths by selected age groups, 2021 versus 2019. So over a 2-year period, what is the percentage change by age group? Now, fortunately, infant deaths have actually gone down. That's good. But everything else has risen, and it's not only because of coronavirus, because the coronavirus and its various variants affect older people for the most part. And while the United States has had almost 1 million coronavirus deaths, those are in fact concentrated among older people. And the oldest group of all, people ages 85 plus, has not seen the highest percentage gain, only 6.8%. Any gain is bad, but this is lower than actually the middle age brackets. So coronavirus, while it has increased the death rates of people 65 to 74 and 75 to 84, it's by a certain percentage. What is much more troubling is why younger people, even people ages 5 to 14 and 15 to 24, have seen a dramatic increase in death rate. And even worse, people 25 to 34 have seen a 37.3% increase. 35 to 44, 48.5% increase in deaths, and this cannot be because of the COVID-19 crisis. Now, we hear a lot of other things that are going on. U.S. murder rates have risen by 30%. This is because of political agitation. U.S. automobile fatalities have also risen by 30% or something, despite much less driving. This is very bad. This is because of a certain nihilism and indifference that is going on in the United States right now, due to a variety of factors, including the media trying to make everyone pessimistic and demoralized about life, because the media makes more money by making you angry or frightened, and then this translates into other things. Even people who aren't angry or frightened can be killed in an automobile accident by someone who is driving recklessly because they just don't care anymore. So this big rise in deaths among people who are still rather young, people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, is quite worrisome. It's risen by a third, 2019 to 2021. Now, this is not enough data. Let's see what the 2022 data turns out to be and the 2023 data, and hopefully it goes back to the 2019 levels, ideally even lower. But this rise is certainly a problem, and the numbers are not small. The increase in deaths in absolute numbers is also pretty substantial. People in their 20s and 30s, these are the increase in number of deaths in 2021 versus 2019. Now, this is relevant to other topics on this channel in that a lot of futurists, notably Ray Kurzweil and a lot of the people who agree with most of his writings and are otherwise in his general orbit of futurism, they are gung-ho about life extension and longevity technologies. Now, I am on record from the very beginning, all the way from 2006, going back to my blog, The Futurist, where I said that life extension technologies will be incrementalist, but not anything truly revolutionary in terms of extending human life, because A, biology doesn't work that way, and B, that is not necessary for the furtherance of technological progress. Technology does not need humans to become immortal or near immortal. It just needs the continued acceleration of intelligence, whether through humans or through technologies that hybridize with humans. And if human longevity becomes more and more, then human birth rates will plummet, and the number of generations per century, or the time between generations, will actually slow down, which is counter-evolutionary. Now, a lot of futurists, such as Ray Kurzweil, they're trying to will this concept of longevity into existence. They don't want to die, they're afraid to die, and therefore look for anything that can make them feel good about the prospects of immortality or near immortality, or even a lifespan of 150, which is twice as much as normal. That is not going to happen. There will be incremental improvements in medical technologies, such as technologies to delay the spread of cancer, things like that. Human lifespan may rise somewhat, but at the moment, life expectancy in the United States has gone down. And again, there are other factors. Once medical technologies improve, not everyone wants to live long. They will instead abuse their system by going overboard in the sins of excess. They will drink more, smoke more, do more drugs because there's more medical technologies that can delay their death or cure them, or so they think. Things like that are also a factor. But US life expectancy is in fact lower than it was in the year 2000. And Ray Kurzweil, in his book, The Age of Spiritual Machines, which I have done a review for in this video up here, in that book he predicted 20 years into the future from that point. That's a 1999 book. He predicted that by 2019, life expectancy in the US would be 100 years. Instead, life expectancy is the same or lower than it was in 1999, here in 2022. So of all his predictions, many of which are right, this is the big one that has failed, and I have consistently been right about this, that human life expectancy is not going to rise by much for all the reasons I just mentioned. It can rise incrementally, bit by bit. There's more information about how to live a healthy life that is available on YouTube and so forth, so an individual can customize their life in a way that makes their lifespan somewhat longer, but at the same time, traffic fatality rates are up 30%, murder rates are up 30%, and you have things like COVID-19, and that's why the death rate in the US is so much higher. And there's always going to be something like this that ultimately makes it much harder than these futurist things for some longevity miracle to occur. And people who think that they are going to live forever because of some technological miracle are going to be disappointed. Ray Kurzweil expects to be an immortal. He was born in 1948. He's not going to be an immortal. He's a better human being than most, and few people deserve it more than he does, but he's not going to, nor is anyone else in the longevity community going to experience that. Whether Aubrey de Grey, George Church, Sonia Arison, all these people, they're wonderful people and they're doing important research, but this is a technological and scientific obstacle much greater than even they, with all their expertise, realize. And unfortunately, cultural and political factors also come into play that counter scientific gains in potential life expectancy, as we see over here. So most of the videos on this channel are very optimistic, but I pride myself in being a very realistic futurist. And I have been predicting since 2006 that human life expectancy will not rise due to a multitude of factors, both technological and non-technological. And very sadly, this is what we are seeing over here. Coronavirus just boosted these numbers for older people somewhat, but these younger people dying at an even greater rate is something that is often overlooked and should not be, because in terms of years of life lost, this is the larger number. Anyway, if you find these types of subjects to be informative, then I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell and upvote this video. Thank you very much for watching.